Sinners is a good film which only commits one sin throughout its runtime. Spoilers, of course, for the story, as I'm going to run through the story quickly, and all of the many positives that this film has. Because it has a lot. It's a very good film. Go watch it. If you're one of those people who isn't going to go watch it because it's a horror, it isn't a horror. When I told my friend I was going to see it, he said, I'm not watching that because it's a horror. I personally don't really like horrors that much either. The furthest I'll go horror-wise is like Nope or Get Out. I know they're basically the same films. It's weird because I was reading some news articles because I wanted to find out what camera they used to film it. Get back to that in a minute because that's impressive in itself. They kept describing the film as a horror, but it is not a horror. Now, is it about vampires? Yes. Also, sorry, spoilers. And are the vampires scary? Yes. And is there gore and violence? Yeah, sure, there's that as well. But it isn't a horror. It has very few horror elements in the fact that there's like 3 jump scares throughout the whole film. But yeah, it is not a horror, and I think it's doing the film a disservice with everyone describing it and categorizing it as a horror, because horrors do kind of often have a reputation of being cheap and bad. Anyway, as I mentioned, the camera, I was looking up how that was filmed because I was watching it, I was like, this has got to be filmed on film, because just, you know, it has that film look to it with all the with just that lovely contrast and great depth of field and all that shit. And guess what? It's better than that. It was filmed on 70mm IMAX. I didn't see it in IMAX because, I don't know. The cinematography is very good. There's one shot in the middle, best shot of the whole film. It's this very long one take of all these characters dancing on the dance floor, and it delves into the storyline and how people have this musical talent which conjoins and connects across past, present, and future, and all that stuff. I don't know. I'm not good at music. I don't play any musical instruments. I didn't even know that was possible. The only downside to having such great musical talent that you can connect to your ancestors and your future grandchildren's grandchildren is the fact that vampires can sense the music, and, well, they kind of want you to become a vampire as well, because then they get the joy of constantly having the music or the musical power or some rubbish like that. I don't know. I did watch the film, I promise. All the acting in it is superb. The storyline itself, very good, except for one thing, which we'll get back to in a minute, don't worry. I think it plays into the well-known actors or actresses that it has in it quite well, because we subconsciously, when we know an actor or actress is in a film, we subconsciously think they're going to be a big character in it, and so then it's more surprising, spoilers, when they die halfway through, or, well, technically they don't die. Technically, they become a vampire. Without giving away too many spoilers, make sure you stick around for the credit scene, or the after credit scene, because this film has an amazing ending in it. And it kind of has like 2 endings. It has the actual ending that you'd expect from a film, and then it has the after credits scene, which is only after a few credits. But no, it's good, and it ties up the story very well, and it makes you go, oh. It's good when films subvert your expectations. All the characters are well written as well as well acted. Very well paced at the beginning, especially at the beginning is very well paced. There's a reason why my favourite film is Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, and it's because such a long duration of that film is just following these characters around for one day, and that's what this film does as well. It's almost its entirety is set in one day, or it's continuous 24 hours. It does have a flashback scene at the beginning, but you know what? It worked well. It added tension. Now, because I'm not trying to ruin the story too much for you, because I do genuinely think you should go out and watch it. There's a reason why everyone is raving about it. Maybe I enjoyed it a bit more because it was a bit of a surprise. I hadn't even seen any trailers or adverts for it. I just saw that everyone was going on about how much of a good film it was. So I was like, you know what? Black Cineworld card. Yes, let's utilize it and go watch it without any prior knowledge as to what on earth is going on. And I'm glad I did. And I'm glad I ignored the people that said it was a horror. But this one sin that Sinners committed, see what I did there? Keeping it in tone with the film. God, I'm amazing. The only issue, and this may just be me being weird, so take it with a pinch of salt and still go and watch the film. because it's not that bad of an issue. It's kind of 3 films or 3 storylines in one. You get the music aspects of how some people are so talented at music that it attracts the vampires, and obviously that whole storyline of the music and the vampires. So that's storyline number 1. And then storyline number 2 is what the first hour or so of the film is about, and you really get into the storyline. And it's about these 2 twins, these 2 main characters, well, cousins of the main character, who's a good singer. And it's about these 2 who are gangsters or criminals, and how they've just come from a city, I think it was Detroit or some shit, I don't know, some American city, back to what is clearly their hometown, and they're having to relive all their pasts. It's just drip feeding us more and more information about these twins, how they're criminals, how people keep joking, how people keep saying that they've like stolen money and then come back here to their hometown or something. How these 2 twins have to meet their ex-partners, and it shows more about their characters and how they kind of ran away and what was going on. And it's kind of portrayed towards closer to the end that they stole loads of alcohol from the Irish gangs and the Italian gangs, who would just be the mafia. Linked to this story, at the beginning of the film, they buy this barn mill house, not the Simpsons character, like a building which used to be a mill. They turn it into like a club or whatever, and that's how they plan on selling all this wine and Irish beer that they've stolen. But there's this truck throughout the film where they're constantly going on about looking after it and making sure no one's stealing from it and everything. And at the end, one of the twins pulls out a high-powered rifle and a machine gun of some sorts, because they bought the mill house from these ex-Ku Klux Klan members, and the ex-Ku Klux Klan members were planning to come by the next day and shoot down all of these people because they're black. Spoilers. But when these racist people come by, the twin is there and guns them all down. But then it leaves you questions like, oh, was the plan actually to go here and sell all this alcohol, which helps, but then also to kill all of these ex-Ku Klux Klan members? And you're interested in their storyline, but halfway through, the actual storyline continues with all the vampires and that. 3 storylines: the music, the vampires, and the twins' backstory / their current plan with making money, selling the alcohol, and killing racists. Because of that, when the vampire stuff started happening, I was kind of more interested in finding out what was going on with the twins and what their actual plan was to make money, and how, if there was no vampire stuff, how they would have dealt in the morning with all these racists coming to try and kill them all. And because of that, some people going into the film wanting to watch this vampire film would have been bored. Well, they wouldn't have been bored, would they? Because it was good acting and good scenes and good character development. And there were quite a few good long shots. Again, the cinematography was just very good. But it does leave the issue that it felt a little bit rushed in the middle. With overall, film has great pacing. I am really nitpicking right now because nothing's perfect. Okay, remember that. Not even you. The actual scene where the vampires start to attack, they work out what's going on with the vampires, and then there's actually a really cool scene. This woman gets ultimate aura points because she wants to kill all the vampires, and I guess in vampire law or some rubbish, they have to be invited into the building because they keep asking if they can be invited in, and the door's wide open but they're still not coming in, so I'm assuming they have to be invited in. I've never met a vampire, I'm not really down with the vampire knowledge. Never watched Twilight. But she invites them all in, and then there's this battle scene where all the vampires come into the mill house, and all of our main characters that are left over have to fight them all. And it's kind of gruesome. The woman who screamed that, spoilers, Molotovs herself to death while she's like stabbing her husband, who is now a vampire. But apart from that little bit in the middle where it feels a little bit rushed, the whole film's great, let's be honest. But I'm really nitpicking here, I feel bad. Oh my god, a Porsche Dakar. I've never seen one of those IRL before. 8 out of 10. Could have been more Millhouses. Well, I'm tempted to bump it up to a 9 out of 10, the more I'm talking about it, the more I realise how much of a good film it is. It's just, it could have done with an extra half an hour, just in that in that section in the middle, where it's the climax of the vampire storyline. Because you have that bit, and then you have the climax of the twins storyline, where he shoots all the racist people that come to try and kill him. And then around the credit sequence, you have the actual ending. Again, very good ending. Oh yeah, one more thing. This film is a little bit obsessed with cunnilingus, and I was thinking about that throughout the duration of watching it. You probably, like, if you watch the film, you know what I'm on about. But then I kind of realised it parallels how vampires, you know, bite people for them to become vampires and to connect and all that rubbish. So I guess it kind of makes sense.